Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back to Indiana Jones and Last Crusade. Feels like we've spent about 3 hours inside of this Nazi castle, and we are about to escape. We're tied up to the chair. Unlike the movie, though, I don't think there's a point here where you actually knock over a candlestick and um, and start a fire. So there's not really this extra danger. We have 185 marks, and we gave away not the real Grail Diary, but the fake book that looked like the Grail Diary. So we don't actually logically need to go to Germany and to the uh, which happens in the movie. So you can kind of divert from the movie. This amount of money may only get us so far when we get to the blimp. We probably still want to go to Germany and get the pass signed to really perfect this. If we go to Henry, we can see he has coins, and all we can really do is push the chairs. And, like, you could certainly go around looking at things to try to interact with, but you can see that there's really nothing here. If we go to Indy for a second and try to pull the chairs, you can do that just as easily instead of having the father do it. And this is pretty much just um, showing the events of the movie, and in a much more modern game, one that could have background music throughout every scene, you definitely would just see a cutscene here. You can also see that they're not really tied to the chair in any way that actually would stop them from moving. It would be very, very easy to fall on your side and scoot the rope upward. And as you scoot the rope upward, you would just get more and more free space until you could wiggle out of it. Uh, the only way to tie two people to a chair would be to run the rope like through the pieces of the chair and hope the chair is not so incredibly um, in the so incredibly brittle that it could break. But more logically, if you're going to tie people to a chair, you wouldn't tie them together in groups. You would keep them separate. You would put them on the other sides of the room. It would be fairly smarter to do that. They already locked them in this room, anyways. Uh, but if you really want to keep them tied up, you would probably get much closer to hog tying people on the floor, tying their legs together, tying their wrists together, putting them in awkward, difficult, unfamiliar positions. Um, and frankly, these are Nazis, not Boy Scouts. So why they don't have stronger things than rope doesn't really make sense. They should have handcuffs. They should have a guard that they could uh, put on watch duty to just actively look at people so that they're not trying something like this. Also, in all fairness, I did basically beat up and punch out almost everybody in this area. So, for safety's sake here, I'm gonna save again. And we're not gonna be having to do so much save scumming as we were before, but I'm going to push this suit of armor when I get close enough, and it's going to put a line on the ground. But if I do it wrong, I may very well lose, and then it may very well chop one of the characters in half. The thing here was when I came into this room earlier, I should have prepared a little bit better and because I didn't prepare a little bit better. I don't have the line on the carpet that you normally would have. I had just kind of forgotten about it. So, yeah. I'm not sure if you can actually get a full game over here, but there's a lot of ways in this game where you can get game overs that you just would never see. We're not close enough. See, so that was in the wrong position. And there we died. Censored. Good taste prevents us from describing in much detail what happened. Needless to say, it was not a pretty sight. 128 episodes, series 178. So our score, like none of that really makes any sense as far as what that is. It just does not really tell you at all. Henry doesn't push you in any different direction versus, or any different distance. So you could do either character fairly easily. But in this case, I don't even know if this will work. Because if we push the statue now, we're not close enough. So, yeah. Easiest thing to do would be to do this. And then pull 1. Pull 2. And then push the statue. Pretty easy to misclick here. And then start here. And then pull 1. Pull 2. There's just like no way. Pull 3. There's really no way you would be able to get this on the first try. There we go. Junior, you always do cut things this close? Do you always cut things this close? So yeah. And we could have been in this room earlier and we would have picked up the axe and there would have been a line and it would have helped you. There's literally nothing here. You literally can't open the door, I don't believe. The door is locked. So yeah, no fire. No secret spy station behind the fireplace. Just instead an exit. Let's go. No being tied up in the fireplace and spinning around. We have to travel light. I left all that baggage behind. What's funny is it had already emptied my inventory, so that would have been the time for them to get rid of your inventory. And here we go. We use the sidecar, which even the process of escaping, Dad getting, we're going to Iskardun Run. Even the process of going through that was not really necessary, or as good as it was in the movie. So here's where the money might change hands. It might get us not as far, and there's potentially a scenario here where you would have had no money whatsoever, and you would have had to try and sneak in. And there's a plane on the ground that you try to start, and we'll do that if I recall correctly. And then there's a scenario where you can get tickets that get you halfway there, or all the way there. Maybe you need all 255 marks to get all the way there. Otherwise, we have a man, and we have lots of background and lots of people. So let's look at the man. Well, looking At the man does nothing. Let's talk to the man. Interesting. Walk. Talk to man. Excuse me, sir. Yes, what do you want? I don't have all day, you know? Do you know what time the Zeppelin leaves? You look impatient. Are you late for a meeting? Tell me about your grandchildren. Never mind. Let's see, when does the Zeppelin leave? Seems like the most direct question. No. This may very well just be dialogue that gets you nowhere. Now what? Tell me about your grandchildren. Oh, my grandchildren, let me tell you. First Siegfried, then Kalini and Boris, and Hans, Franz, Fritz, Frederick, Gustav, Horst, and Warner, Josef, Weigon, Jonan, Sebastian, and little Albert. So it's just a long list of names that probably don't matter. Excuse me, sir. Now what? You look impatient. Are you late for a meeting? That's none of your business. Okay. So, the thing here is we could potentially talk to our father and have him steal the tickets out of the pocket of the character. Talk to the man. Excuse me, sir. Now what? Never mind. And then, okay, so you have just a brief time there. And it's worth mentioning, while there might be a key phrase towards an item, like there might be a key that means pick up that you could press on the keyboard. I have no idea what that is. Now what? Never mind. And then to Henry, pick up. See, this isn't going to work. We're going to have to actually talk to... Give coins to this guy. Nope. We could look at the Grail Diary. We haven't done that in a while. Don't see anything pertinent now. Let's see. If we walk over here. Pick up. When he's looking. Does he not do the animation? Unless you're someone standing there? Pick up. See, talk to man. See, there's just no conversation to have. Pick up, and you just have to be really, really fast if that's what you were going to do. And I'm not sure I've ever actually done that. Like, I'm not sure I've ever been able to pickpocket, or if that's even an idea that the game actually wants you to be able to do, or if this is just a character that's a red herring. Like, I bet there are multiple solutions, but a lot of the multiple solutions don't seem like they really work. See, this guy just stands there. You can't really look at him. And if we can't really push him... So yeah, it may very well have been... Let's see, if we were to load back up, we would be all the way back there. That's not really worth it. Let's move on. Yeah, you have a very badly drawn face of a character. It's just not circular at all. And I remember even originally playing the game and seeing that didn't really work. What is ticket counter? So use ticket counter. Doesn't seem to work. Talk to ticket agent. May I help you? We'd like 2 tickets. First flight out of Germany. That would be 175 marks. We have 185 marks. And we could say never mind. And we could see, maybe we could talk to Henry. Like, the thing is, the money isn't really that necessary at this point. Maybe if you step a bit further away. To Henry, talk. No, see, he does do that animation. It's just, it doesn't loop particularly fast. I'm going to just what is and make sure that there actually is a ticket. What is man? What is man? Yeah, I don't think you can actually get the tickets off of them. Alright. Your other option, come on, Dad, is to come out here and probably should save the game. Just make a new save. There's going to be less instant deaths. Anyways, so you can go here and you'll almost certainly be chased by these guys. You can go to the biplane, or you can walk across the tarmac. This is a pretty old-fashioned style of airport. The idea of just walking on the tarmac, and then you have a giant blimp. You can just get on the blimp if you want. And it starts to make sounds effects. The worst case scenario is to either get on the blimp and then immediately be kicked off because you don't have tickets, or get in the biplane. So yeah, you've got a lot of stuff here. Now, Junior, do you really know how to fly this thing? No, not really. I believe you pump this, do prime. I believe you flick a couple of things. We turn on the petrol. Maybe you flip everything there. We've got the petrol on. There we have seemingly everything. Right, left, back, maybe. Button this. Prime that. Release the throttle. Okay, Dad, let's get out of here. And so you only have a few seconds there to figure out the right solution to fly the plane. And the flying the plane sequence is pretty much exactly the same as flying the plane you see on the right of the screen there. That was close. What was close? Or we just made it on board. I see. Tickets, please. May I have your tickets? And tickets weren't the ones we used acceptable. We don't need ticket special authorization. Usually ace is untied. And see, if you try to give them money, that will be 225 marks. So it's even more expensive. And then you get a boxing things. Must have won you. I won a gold medal as a boxing person, your health is back to normal. So, like, this is a weird world where people would not fight dirty or have weapons, or or they would just be up to a boxing fight. That's my boy. So you can do that, and that works fairly well. But then they're going to find the body at that moment back in the castle. Sir, yes, what do you want? We have reports that Jones boys have boarded a Zeppelin leaving Germany. So radio to have it turned around at once. Yes, sir. So you get this constant fight that you have to put up with, as far as you're just not going to succeed as well as you would like. So instead, let's buy tickets. Might help you. You like 2 tickets? That'll be 175 marks. Take this money. Here you are. So we now have tickets and 10 marks. Which that decision inherently means you run a little bit further in the map that will be seen. So you run into less random distractions and border crossing sections. But at the end of the day, not having to fight that guy in the boxing doesn't really change anything other than you have less money now. At a certain point, money stops being an issue. Like, and we're fairly close to that point. There is definitely a lot of weirdness you see in this, where they're trying to have a boxing mini game. They're going to have a airplane flying mini game. Just a lot of things that you normally wouldn't expect to see in a point-and-click adventure. And if you compared this game to the other Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade games, this is still probably the one that is the best in quality and holds up a lot better. But it, compared to more modern point-and-click adventures, really doesn't barely even compare. Take these tickets. Thank you and enjoy your trip. And that's it. So, way easier experience. There's a hole here that will open a hatch here. And it's the same experience before, where he's just going to say radio to have it come back. And when we come back in this, we have a locked door here. And we've got, much like the Venice area, a lot of people that are acting as background imagery, but literally just nothing else to do. An entire scene with nothing. And then here we can see that unless there's a tiny little pixel hunt, which here we can see some glitched graphics again. It seems like nothing else to do at all. But if we go over to Henry, who the idea of switching between 2 characters has been done in point-and-click adventures after this, and I think it's probably done a lot better. We can use the coins in the bowl Here's some money. Thank you. What would you like to hear? Der Overture von Krieg der Stern. Do you know what time the Zeppelin lands? Can you play Edelweiss for me? I'd love to hear Whip Cracker Sweet. Edelweiss. Edelweiss is pretty good, but they don't play it anymore because it's... I could, but I'll play this one instead. And that convinces the radio guy to leave. I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, Idlewise is actually, sadly, just like too associated with the Nazi regime. There's probably a decent amount of Nazi created art and such that it's just been banned. Okay. So now, close door. And open. Hey, you're not supposed to be in here. Sorry, I was looking for the men's room. I came to check after someone. I saw someone leave here in a hurry. Throw a punch. Throw a punch. This is a much smaller room. Knocking this guy out probably would give you a decent chance of not being discovered and the Zeppelin not getting turned around, because I doubt there are too many people that come in here. And so you don't search them for money or anything. I don't see anything special about it. So we have a locker, a shortwave radio, and seemingly nothing else. Open the locker, and then we can pick up the wrench, and then we can open the shortwave radio. Right, tear it apart with my bare hands. Okay. And that ought to take care of it. And so we don't need to do anything else. Don't say anything special about it. And then we can just close the door. And then we can go ahead and use the wrench that we got in this hole. And then we can push the wrench. But all we're really waiting for is the idea that they're going to turn around. And they may very well just never turn around in this scenario. Grab the wrench again. Let's go ahead and use some more coins in the bowl. Here's the money. Thank you. What would you like to hear? Let's just go with all of them. Die Overture von Krieg. No, but I'm sure you'll like this little ditty. One assumes that you might literally just fail completely if you run out of songs, so you only get like 4 chances. And I don't know, like, there are definite failure scenarios here where you either run out of chances, you fail in the boxing fights with one of the 2 people you can fight here, or you just wait until the biplane turns around. Unless there is a mistake I'm making here where you can look out the window. Don't know if there really is anything we have to do. We're just kind of on a timer. Thank you. What would you like to hear? Let's see. Do you know what time the Zeppelin lands? I'm not familiar with that tune, but I'll play this one so he doesn't answer your question. We'll look out maybe this window. It probably is the case that we've gone as far as we can and there's not going to be a triggering factor or a timer that turns us around. So we've probably played this as well as we could, with perhaps the exception that maybe we don't actually go to Germany in this case and get the pass signed, which maybe we don't even need that because we played so well, which means they're very well, maybe a situation here where we missed a whole section. I'd like to hear the whip cracker suite instead of the nutcracker suite. I'm sure you would, but I'll play my favorites instead. There's kind of nothing else to look at. Like, there's no windows here. You missed the whole section, the comedy bit in the movie where he pretends to be the guy who's checking for tickets and punches and knocks a guy out into the luggage. So they've kept it a fairly small subsection here to kind of adjust for how incredibly long the castle was. Up we go to the ladder, and I believe when we walk up here it's going to start turning around. Probably should save at this point just to be careful. We'll make a new save, and instead of this being a simple, alright, that's not gonna work. And instead of this being a simple just direct passage to the flight path, it is now a Nazi filled Pac-Man game, for lack of a better term, which is definitely not what you expect to see in a point and click adventure. Is the Zeppelin is turning around. We're heading back towards Berlin. Alright, and more boxing. Should have come forward. I want to be careful to not potentially lose so much of my health that it doesn't refill. So like that was prime real estate as it was. And this is a bit more around the idea that you would have thought you would have hit for the castle, that you could have just outrun the people and wormed your way around. I'm confused. You're not searching these people for money again. These don't feel like these are particularly difficult boxes, though. Let's get one more sucker punch like that to keep my health up. Yeah, there's just an insanely complicated puzzle here that you just don't really expect. Like much more complicated than it really needed to be. And there's even a 4th tier of scaffolding up to this. It's just like, I get the idea of trying to be 3D, but you probably at this point would have been fairly burnt out. And you don't want to have to go through all this. So I'm going to see if I can just load back to this point. And let's see. Will this guy chase me down? Word? Yes, he will. Will this guy chase me upward, I wonder? Up we go. Zeppelin's turning around. Moving towards Berlin. Well, that wasn't my fault. The game froze me as I was talking, or as the character, Indy, was talking. See, when he backs down, it doesn't really do anything because it just, I kind of instinctually still go backwards anyways. But yeah, you can definitely feel, unlike almost any other point and click adventure, they did not want to pay writers to write dialogue that frankly could have been copy and pasted from the movie. We need a way down, and I'm not sure I see a way down. So you have that whole lit up section over there on the left, but I don't think that indicates what what you would think it indicates. This is probably a singular maze in the sense that it doesn't probably change. And people tend to go in circles, and they're doing you a favor by putting you on the left side of each battle, whereas they were alternating before, which is an odd inconsistency, which you can only assume is an indication that multiple teams worked on these battles, or they just want to spice things up. Want to be careful to get more sucker punches. That way I can keep my green health bar as high as possible. Okay. think I want to go down that way. This probably is the only path down. You can kind of see the biplane at that level. Seriously, how does one get there? Because we were already up high. So my only other thought would be that we need to go even higher. You're not supposed to just jump. Well, you know what? We'll see if maybe these two different paths here actually don't connect. Just metallic clanging as you're walking up. One more battle. And 1, 2, 3 usually works. See if we can sucker punch him with the rest of these. Again, just trying to keep our health as high as possible. You have like there's like nothing to click on, and you have no items to use. So it must be something like going up here, and then back down this way, up and over, to reach something like that. But to reach something like that, apparently it knows how to pathfind that direction. But that is quite the long way around. Definitely stretching the game out. Definitely not having lines of dialogue, any of the interpersonal drama between the father and the son. There almost certainly were some initial thoughts when Steven Spielberg was writing Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, that there was this idea of there being an allegory between the father being like Heavenly Father and Indiana Jones being a allegory for like Jesus. I imagine it didn't go very far as a concept, but almost certainly that was thought of. There is, if you wanted to read a very deep meaning into Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which would probably be a mistake, probably a message between, is a message more important or is the magic more important? What does the Holy Grail really represent? Does it represent a magical cup that can give eternal life, or does it represent confirmation of a religion, which at that point, since the religion is since almost all religions are based on faith, you've destroyed any opportunity for faith, as it were, if you've proven it to be true, which may be a good thing and may be a bad thing. Like it would definitely have changed Christianity quite a bit in this world had the Ark of the Covenant or the Holy Grail ended up in the hands of scientists and the public generally knew that it existed, that would have probably put an end to a lot of conflict around the world too, or caused a lot too, but it would have put an end to quite a bit also. Maybe not as much as you would think though, because there's plenty of artifacts that are claimed to be magical and blessed inside of the Vatican of the real world, and there's still plenty of reason to disbelieve those claims that they're magical. So what's weird here is you now can see that it takes such an incredible amount of time to get to this point that if you really are on a timer, and I believe you actually are, I believe there actually is a chance here that if I took long enough, it would land back in Germany. Dad, how'd you get here before me? Don't ask. I didn't know you could fly a plane, Junior. Fly, yes. Land, no. Hold on. And so this is the same scenario that was in the movie somewhat, and the difference is you didn't have to do the initiation puzzle. Here you can use the mouse cursor to the number pad to fly as people are trying to shoot you or hit Junior. So are we attempting to dodge the targeting? No. What we're trying to do is probably have the plane be fairly sturdy as we're flying back and forth, and our father is shooting the gun and shooting up our own plane. They got us, we're going down. So try to gain some altitude. At the end of the day, you get shot down no matter what. The only difference is if you buy the tickets, if you leave the plane at a certain point, you end up closer to your goal and you run into less repeated border crossings. And that would be good, probably, because we only have $10 and we don't have the pass signed. Which I feel like I would like to get the pass signed, but I don't have a way of doing that. Like, I outsmarted myself, and now we don't get to see that sequence. It's a very, very brief sequence. It's like one stationary, nicely drawn section, but we are off the rails as far as following what happened in the movie. You always crash land in the same place regardless. And then here we have Henry in a car. So let's look at our father. Or walk to our father. Hey Dad, get up. This is no time to take a nap. Sorry, Junior. Come on, let's go steal a car. And there was a whole sequence here where you would have irritated the geese on a beach, and they would have flown up with his umbrella, which he's not even carrying the umbrella. He never had it. And because of that, he crashes a plane. There's nothing more to do here. So open this car and open this car. And so then the question becomes, which car do we want to take then? The Nazi car or the regular car? Let's use this car. Doesn't seem to be any gas in this one. Okay. Then use this car. Let's go. And so you get the little red map. And this is the only difference here. Halt, come here at once. I need to see your authorization. I don't think you can get gas out of the other car, but maybe you could. Take this pass, and unless he's a real sucker, what good is an unsigned pass? So more boxing. After this point, which is major middle arc of the game, is all about just punching Nazis before it was even particularly cool to punch Nazis. Actually, frankly, it was pretty much always particularly cool to punch Nazis. These guys are probably not the best boxers, and they probably don't hit very hard. But you are going to end up just doing that a lot, even in a scenario where you're trying to avoid that. And slight different variants. Hold it. You've got to come over here. You need to see your authorization. And we could try and give him 10 marks. Take this money. A few marks will be a poor substitute for a pass, but many marks. Let's see. Let me see how much I have. Here's half of my money. Here's all of my money. You insult me with only 10 marks? No, I was going to give you a tip too. And every one of these that you go through, it's going to get just more difficult. That's why it would have been better to give the Grail diary actually to the Nazi when we got caught. Let's see. Yeah. And it's the same ending as getting beat up before, where it's series 212 of episode 150. What that even means still doesn't make any sense. Okay. So, do you potentially want to go all the way back to this point and give the Grail diary? Maybe. Let's see. This door's locked. This is that. This is the point where we could have given a... We could have disabled the alarm. But if you manage to disable the alarm, all this gets you is 70 more marks, and that doesn't actually help you any. So is it worth it to run all the way down to this? Let's see. Come all the way down here. This would be a point where you would probably really enjoy knocking the... You weren't wearing that last time I saw you. You must be the intruder. Come on, power punch this. guy. But there was nothing on him, so that was kind of a waste. If I went the wrong direction. Nope, I came to the right direction. So when we were in here earlier, we should have done that. Oops. And that puts a nice little black line. Which you pretty much would need a time travel mechanic in a game like this if you were going to have so many branching paths. You need some kind of screen or description that tells you this is a thing that you could have done, this is a part that you missed, or you made a choice here and that affected your story this way or that way. So then we have to walk all the way back up here. We can open this door. And then we can come in here, just doing things differently for the sake of it. Slippery out here. A bit of change into my action clothes. And back this way. It's about time you returned. And then you just open the door. It's locked. And then set off the alarm. And that still sets off the alarm. And you still get caught. Dr. Jones. Yes, yes. You have an item I want. I'm sure I can persuade you to part with it. So we offer the item. There's really no reason to not do this. Give the Grail Diary. I believe this is what you're looking for. And this is what happens in the movie. The Grail Diary. I'm glad you decided to cooperate. Now what do we do, Junior? I don't know. I'll think of something. So yeah. We once again are in a position where it is a case of, let's see if I can find out which button is pull. It is basically just all the keys in the same grid. So pull should be A on a QWERTY keyboard. So you can just hit A and left click to get there somewhat faster. It might even be easy if they had thrown in a repetition button. But yeah, a lot of repetition, a lot of grinding happening in this little section. They found a way to add another hour, and it certainly would have been a unfortunate hour if we tried to go through all the border crossings. In all fairness, there probably would have only been 2 or 3 more, but 2 or 3 more may very well have been more than I could handle as far as getting knocked out. So see, you can see the black line lines up, making this very easy to do. Junior, do you always cut things this close? Push the statue. And out we go. Let's go. And you don't go out the front. Like, I guess we could probably save the game. We'll just make a new save file. We have to travel light. I left all that baggage behind. I better not. There are about 30 Nazi soldiers looking for us. So then we use the motorcycle. Dad, get in. We're going to Iskenderun. No, Junior, we're going to Berlin. What? We have to get the diary back. We won't survive the 3 tests of faith without it. Alright. Hold it. You've got to come over here. I need to see your authorization. That's out of the question. But of course, silly me. My authorization, you insult me. No one passes without authorization. I have no time. I must catch Jones. Keep it down. This man with me is Gestapo. Gestapo. Do you have proof? Let's see. Let me hand it over. Keep it down. He angers easily. What's that, Junior? Damn. Look at how low my health is. So, yeah. We could try to bribe him at this point. And let's see, if we hit escape, we can just skip to this point. I don't know if you can actually talk your way through this border guard crossing. My authorization, you insult me. Insult or not, you must have clearance. You talk this way to a senior officer. Officer, you're not in uniform. I'm operating undercover. It's classified. Classified as secret mission. Did they give you any credentials? It's top secret. I have no ID. I have them in my hand. No kidding. Okay, you can go. Wow, that actually worked. So here you see Elsa and Hitler showing up. Lots and lots of swastikas. Elsa plays literally no part in the story at all. She gets sidelined. A lot of the female characters in the Indiana Jones movie get sidelined. Indy, where is it? Ah, the Grail Diary. You came back for the book? See ya. Oops. And here we have Hitler. Anita, you can punch Hitler, which I think any decent American should throw a punch. Nazis. I hate Nazis. Boom. Indy. And he just walks off. We wish you could say that Indy went down in history as the only American to ever punched out Hitler. Unfortunately, no one ever heard about it. So you get a special ending for that, but the whole purpose here that this helps is you give him the pass and he signs the pass for you. And the guard just goes, what's going on? And follows him. Woo. Well, did you get it? Yeah, I got it. Wonderful. Now let's go to the airport. I think it's also worth mentioning that they totally overlook on this part the fact that Elsa slept, or is implied to have slept, with both the father and the son, as it were, and that she speaks talks in her sleep in German, and that's how they identified that she was a Nazi, or how the father identified that she was a Nazi. All right, so we'll try this again. Talk to the man, and then let's see. Do you know what time the Zeppelin leaves? No, and then to Indy, pick up tickets. See if there is a way to like pick up the tickets. It is probably really, really hard to do. Because you kind of see something sticking out of his pockets. There we go. Got him. You got what? Or, just a fly. I caught a fly. A fly. You caught a fly. So now we have the tickets for free. And less work required for that. And for sanity's sake, we've already seen how that works. So let's see if we can actually use the biplane to do all this. This, prime 1, 2, 3, this, 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 this. Is it this one? Something missing. There we go. So we're waiting for that to kind of charge up. There we go. Hold on, Dad. Here we go. And then it's back to using the number pad to fly through this whole section. So I think you probably have to hit the button several times there. It went well. Seems like this is going better. If you can kind of be smoother about it, I think you probably can't avoid getting damaged as much. But you probably are only going to get hit a couple of times. Like maybe take out 3 planes. And that's probably the best you're going to get. And who's to say if every second here gets you a little bit closer, or if it actually is every single plane gets you past a stop point. But you definitely have a problem in which this is an action path in which you're flying around versus a, they got us, we're going down. I think that probably was defaulted just on a timer. But yeah, you either have to do the action path flying around, or you have to do the action path of beating people up, or you have to do the action path of something else. And it just doesn't really work that well. There's no logical puzzles, there's no slow puzzles, there's no really, really different option here. Let's see. You'd love to take this car or take the flags, but almost certainly you're not going to have that. So travel pass signed by Hitler. So yeah, pretty much the exact same place. We were flying to Belgium. Difference now is, please step out of that expensive looking car. That's your hint. You can bribe somebody. I need to see your authorization. And then we can just use the pass. Take this pass. And they give you back, signed by the Fuhrer. You may go at once. Let's go. But even if you had made it all the way to Belgium, you're actually curving your way towards the Middle East. Halt, come here at once. There's just an incredible amount of grinding you could have gone through all of this, and it doesn't really reward you if you try to do it that way. It really just is punishment upon punishment for not getting lucky or planning ahead, or of having just played this game multiple times before. So we're now at the fourth, in this case, border crossing. And they're not even border crossings, they're inside of the same country. There's just like no free movement inside of the same country. And even when you do it right, like this is the best scenario I imagine you can even do, and it's still boring and repetitive. It doesn't start a cutscene. It doesn't say, it doesn't stopping you. So yeah, just a whole gauntlet you would have had to gone through between bribing people and boxing people. Even if you had used the blimp, it wouldn't have really taken us any further in the right direction. So yeah, this is really a great example of old games, how, and just in general, how games can be bad, and the idea that they give you content, but it's not content that's good, so they just are wasting your time, and they're trying to make it feel like it's your it's a more valuable game than it really is. This content right now could have easily been eliminated, or they could have just reduced the number of soldiers in the castle. They could have reduced the number of boxing matches. They could have had a tripping mechanic, frankly, where people just tripped and fell over in half of the boxing scenarios. There needed to be way more breadcrumbing as far as the idea that you would need money. There's no indication of that at all in the first act. There needed to be more breadcrumbing around how a pass would be useful. So you make it to Austria. If we get past this border guard, then there's no more Germans, no more Nazis. I guess that's the general idea. But really, really boring to hand over the same pass multiple times. 6 or 7 different border crossings. This is a great example also of where all of those border crossing guards would have needed to know what the Fuhrer's signature looked like, and there would have been tons of people trying to forge the Fuhrer's signature. According to the map in your Grail diary, this is the place. We are like the heroes of Arthurian legend. You are Galahad, the valiant knight, and I, his father Lancelot, who was turned away. He has found Henry, Indy. It's good to see you again. Marcus, Marcus, what are you doing here? He's covered in mud. And why are you all dirty? Don't ask. So, Marcus, my old friend, how have you been? So then they just start talking. And this is as good of a point as any to save again. So, yeah, I don't think we've actually missed any content now. We've seen it through playing the levels multiple times over. I guess I could pause the games in between recordings, but I haven't even been bothering to do that. We went particularly long starting all over again. You may notice now we no longer have the old book. We no longer have the ability to turn over to Henry. We no longer have the money. So that whole part of the act is done. We only have our whip, which we barely have used. We've used it once in the game, in the Grail Diary. We could look at the Grail Diary. The challenges were number 3. First, the breath of God, only the penitent man will pass. And of course, if you've seen the movie, you know the solution. Second, the word of God, only in the footsteps of God will he be. Third, the path of God, only a leap from the lion's head will prove his worth. I didn't get that second sentence. The text moves a little too fast. Anyways, there's a chance that in the next recording we will finish the game and that this is a relatively short experience. But there is also a chance that they managed to stretch this out a lot longer than even the events of the movie. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and give me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.